two, one. Hello, everybody. Hello, guys. So this week's YouTube video is going to be a little bit different. You know me by now. You also know my YouTube channel, which is very much focused on breaking language barriers. So yeah, as a professional language coach, I'm always interested in helping you guys to actually learn English. But I also think it's important to have a conversation about the process of learning English and actually becoming able to speak English little by little. So in today's video, I wanted to bring you two of my very, very special students. And so we have Mohammed from Saudi Arabia, and we also have Filipi, who is originally from Brazil, but who nowadays lives in Los Angeles. Now, you might say, okay, Sam, but why did you decide to bring in Mohammed and Filipi specifically today? Because I remember very, very clearly when I started working with Mohammed and Filipi, their English was not like 0, 0, but it was actually really, really, really low. So I remember their English learning journey when it started. And it has been a couple of years since then, but I really wanted to use you guys as a great example for all my other students, for all my other followers and listeners, when it comes to learning a brand new language, which English was for both of you guys. Okay, so I'm going to actually share my screen with you guys here, just in case we come across some words as we speak here, so I can kind of write them down and in case we need something to be explained. I kind of like things like that. Okay, so guys, let's get started. Maybe Felipe, we can start with you. Tell us where you're from and when exactly did you start learning English, please?
Hey, hi. My name is Felipe. I'm from Brazil. I've been to the US about 10 years. And I remember when I got here, my English was like she was saying, was really low. And as soon as I started and having classes and everything, my English improved a lot. So I remember I got here after a year. I started learning English, and it changed. It changed so fast. Like in less than a year, I was like speaking really good, writing really good. So it helped a lot.
But Felipe, I remember specifically with you and also with Mohammed, but remember specifically with you when we would do those like homework exercises.
Uh
Whenever
huh.
I would give you guys like homework exercises, I remember so clearly you would do the homework like really nicely, and then you would redo the homework and you would redo it again and you would redo it again. And I remember that so clearly because it was really clear to me in that moment. Oh, this guy is taking his English learning journey very, very seriously. And I'm mentioning this because I always tell my students this. You can come to me and you can say, oh, Sam, please help me. You can help me. I can try to help you, but it's really hard for me to help you if you are not willing and open to help yourself. So I remember that specifically about both of you guys. You were
Yeah.
very serious. Yes, am I right, Felipe?
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to take it serious. If you really want it, you can do it. Just keep it trying, studying, and you're gonna get there. I was there. I've been there, and now, like, of course, my English is not 100%, but I improve it a lot.
For sure, for sure. Felipe, why do you think that you took your English learning classes so seriously already at the beginning? Why do you think that was?
Well, I moved it to the U.S., so if you are here, you have to speak English, and I decided I'm gonna do that. I remember I was watching TV. I didn't understand anything, so I was like, my friends laughing at the TV. was a TV show ridiculousness, was really funny, and I was like just there staring and couldn't understand anything. I said one day I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna speak, I'm gonna do everything, and it happened. It just, you cannot give up. Keep trying. You're gonna get there.
Excellent. Excellent. Mohammed, would you mind introducing yourself to us? Like, where are you from and when did you start learning English, please?
Yeah, yes, yes, of course. Of course. I'm Mohammed from Saudi Arabia, from Riyadh, the capital city, exactly from Saudi. I actually started learning English before I traveled to the US, but it was my English that it wasn't that good. And even I decided to go to America to get my master, even to improve my English, improve my accent at the same time. Uh, of course, I met you there, Summer. I was one of the good thing that to help me with improving my English. One of the main thing to learn English is to I have actually couple goals in order to learn English. One of them because of the jobs here in Saudi Arabia.
Mm,
They actually it is actually the main thing to speak English because we have foreigners here.
mm,
And second thing to explore places and cultures around the world because now English is the common language in the
mm,
world. So when I speak English, I can go wherever I want to go in the world. Even use the language to like meet new people, know a new culture like this. Uh, of course, I got joined one of the best companies in Saudi Arabia, and we have here like maybe 70% of the employees here actually are internationals.
mm,
They're from UK, US, South African. So I use my English in job.
mm. You know,
Yeah,
that's so interesting. I wrote down the word jobs because very often when students reach out to me, very often it's connected to work. Very often it's connected to work.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Of
these
course.
kind like super powerful stories, something like this, for example, like, oh, I live in Colombia and it's really hard to find a job, but I found this amazing job. I work at a call center, and they
Yes,
pay me.
actually, Summer, it's
Uh-huh,
one of the
please.
requirements now. It's one of the requirements that you have to speak English. Here, still in Saudi, they want you to speak English. Like if they hire you for the degree, they it's gonna be one of the obstacles if you don't speak English and you have a degree. They will say, why don't you speak English?
But
Because we
it's
have because
it's
like we
mhm.
have foreigners in, well, they have international employees in the company. They want you to communicate with them, so they want you to speak English.
Right. And I also think it's really interesting that, let's say, a native English speaker, right? Let me just kind of write that word down here just so we can practice the pronunciation right. Native. Sometimes my students say native or something like that. It's not native, it is native. So imagine that you're doing something like this, like native, sort of native, right? When you talk to native speakers, right? Native speakers are, for example, let's say people who were born in the United States or people who were born in England or any other English language speaking country. So they speak English perfectly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's
yeah,
so
right.
interesting to me how we always, and I say we, right? Because as you know, many, many, many years ago, I also could not speak English. So I was also learning English just like you guys were learning English, right? It's so funny to me how we always kind of compare ourselves to native speakers. I think it's interesting. Mohammed mentioned accents. I wrote it down here
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Well,
Of course.
I wanted to kind of work on my accent, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's so interesting how so many native speakers kind of walk around and just speak English really well, and they never think about what a what a desire that is for so many students around the world. What a barrier that is for so many students around the world. It's like, but wait a minute, what do you mean barrier? A barrier is something that somehow stops you, right? So if you're driving your
Mhm.
car and there is something in the middle of the road, well, that's a barrier because it's blocking you from.
To communicate.
Exactly, to
Yeah.
communicate, to continue, right? So there are so many people around the world who experience these language barriers. And as I was saying to you guys earlier, for example, I've gotten messages from students who are from Colombia, and they say, you know what, teacher? It's really hard to find a job in Colombia. I am responsible for my family. I have to earn money. I have to provide for my family. And just finding a job at a call center, like literally a call center. What is a call center? You know, you pick up the phone and you
Yeah,
maybe are working for T-Mobile or you're working for Sprint, or you know, you're picking it like customer service, right?
I've done that.
But you see, in countries like Colombia, according to my students, they pay you very nice money to be able to do this job. You know, money that helps that person take care of themselves, take care of their families, right? But you must know English. You
Yeah,
must know English. And so, this idea of English and jobs is really, really common. Students mention it all the time. And so it's interesting to hear, Mohammed, that now you are surrounded by like 70% people who actually speak English. And so it's almost like you are forced to use your English. And how nice it is that you actually are skillful enough to be able to use it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
even the Saudis in the company, they must speak English to
Mm,
let the others to understand what we are saying. So
mhm,
even we have, like, I would say 70% non-Arabs
mm,
actually
mhm,
in the
mm,
company. So they use English as a language, or as a, I would say, the key to communicate with other people. Imagine that
mm,
you have a key to go to other rooms, to go to the other
mm.
houses, to meet people. English is your key actually.
Excellent. And what about you, Mohammed? Do you feel kind of confident? Do you feel more confident when you speak in
Yeah,
English to these people? Yes. Yeah.
that's
That's
right.
that's
I feel more
amazing.
more confident than before. We joined the institution, like English institution, late in 2014 maybe, or yeah. So at that time, when we speak English, we didn't feel that confident. But now we feel like more
yeah.
confident. We feel we want to talk. I can't tell, like Filipi and I, we feel like we want to talk. Like it's fine to talk. Like now with the foreigners, like we don't try anymore about our language. You know what I mean?
Excellent. Excellent. And Felipe, what about you? I think it's interesting because I mean you do live in Los Angeles. So was it like was it like extra important to you to learn English because it's like I'm here now, I'm starting a new life, a new culture, new language, yeah?
Oh yeah, of course was important because once you hear, you have to communicate. So after having class with you, well, like it changed a lot. I remember, I believe it was the level 203, and my English from like almost zero, like 3 months studying, especially with you, and I was like writing all of these. I still have it. Some
Mm,
stuff from the school, so
mm,
like imagine you don't know how to write English, and all
mm.
of a sudden 3 months studying, and you have two sides of full page. Look,
Oh my
so
God.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Mm,
that's
mm.
how good it is to study. And today I can write, I can read, I can speak, and without that, I don't know if I was here. Yeah, I probably I was going back to Brazil, but it did a lot. You can get a better job. Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
Guys, first of all, I think it's amazing that you still have that piece of paper because that's exactly what I was talking about. Like when I
Yeah.
would ask you guys, write a few sentences, that's what you
Yeah,
would
yeah,
write.
that's right.
You
That's
would,
right. I remember, Samra. You
yes.
used to say right terms, right? Like a sentence is say like in
Mhm.
vocabulary. You're gonna learn easier. And you were inspiring us honestly, because I saw you the first time you start to learn Portuguese, and you just completed that in a couple months.
Mhm.
In a couple
Mhm.
months, that was really inspiring me. Like I can't do it.
But
Why not?
remember, I almost had like a little deal with you guys. It's like, if you promise me that you're gonna work on your English, I would love to learn Portuguese. I would love to learn some
Yeah.
Arabic,
Yeah.
some Arabic. And let me tell you something. It's incredible because I'm literally, I have literally been able to build courses now that I teach in Portuguese, English courses that I teach in Portuguese, and my students are like, oh my God, thank you, because their level of
We didn't
English is,
we didn't
sorry?
have that on that time. You remember? Now was only English.
Yes,
So we all improve it. You
yes, yes. No, but listen, I mean, I think you remember I was extremely serious about your learning progress because it really meant something to me.
uh,
Every time I notice, every time I see students who are kind of new at this English learning journey, I see myself in them. I see my family in them. I see my parents in them, because these are
Mhm.
moments, my life experiences that I'll never forget. Just kind of watching my mom and dad in Sweden
but
struggling, not
let,
knowing how to say, go ahead, please.
let me tell you. Also, what what helped us a lot was not just like the classes and learning from you. It was like the inspiration, the conversation we had with you. You talking about your life, your experience, where you came from, where you are now, the languages you learn. So it inspired us to keep going to learn. So that was amazing. That were you like catch our attention. In class.
Thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And I feel, I cannot tell you how proud I feel of both of you guys, because that's exactly why I chose both of you. I wanted you to be
Thank you. Thank you.
together in this, podcast slash YouTube video episode, because I remember it's interesting because your friendship started in that classroom. You
Yeah.
guys did not know
That's
each
right.
other, and I think it's safe to say that all three of us are like best friends to this day. we
Oh
don't
yeah.
we don't see each other every day, we don't talk every day, but when we see each other, I know for sure the closeness and the friendship is there. And so that's also so amazing to me. You kind of, as we say in English, you cross paths with strangers, and those strangers become your friends, really close friends, sometimes like family almost, but
That's right.
that what makes that possible is language, right? If we had not had language, it would have been really tricky for us to communicate, to understand each other, to get to know each other better. And so really I feel super, super proud, now, for example, in the case of Muhammad, it could have been the complete opposite. You could have been like, it's okay. I'll learn tomorrow. I'll learn next week. I'll
Yeah.
learn next year. Many people do that. And then all of a sudden, they are presented with this amazing opportunity, job opportunity, status opportunity, all kinds of career opportunities. And guess what? Oh my God, I need English. And then panic strikes, panic strikes. And honestly, guys, I've always known that people go through difficulties when it comes to learning new languages, especially the English language. But I'll be honest with you, it's only recently that I've become seriously concerned when I read these emails and messages that I get from students. So I'll get emails from, let's say, a Brazilian person who lives in Florida, right? And he or she will tell me, I have anxiety when I go to work. I'm so shy, I'm so nervous. I shake when I have to talk to my coworkers because I feel so uncomfortable with my English. I don't have the vocabulary. Everybody is joking, everybody is laughing, everybody's having a good time, and I can't participate because I don't really understand. So I'm like, holy cow. this is not a joke anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like people
Mhm.
truly suffer a lot from these, language barriers. And here's another really interesting thing. Those same people tell me, I have no choice. I need a job. I have to make money. I live in the US now. I live in New Zealand now. I live in Australia now. I have no choice. I have to make money. You see, so I'm sharing all these stories with you guys and with all our listeners. Why? Because determination, I misspelled that.
Yeah.
Determination, oops, excuse me, determination is really, really important. Like Muhammad
Yeah.
said,
It's goodness.
oh my gosh, I'm having spelling issues, De, excuse me, me,
Yeah. There.
Oh gosh, sorry about that. Okay.
It's
The
Fine.
determination is, like Muhammad said, is key. Determination is key. Going back to your homework, right? That's determination. It's like,
Oh
no, no,
yeah.
no. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna write just one sentence. I'm gonna write a whole page,
Yeah.
right? And I
That's
would,
all
uh-huh,
nice.
yeah, there it is. I remember, believe me, I remember it very, very vividly, right? Uh-huh. Very good. So, uh, what would you, what would be your advice to anyone who is listening right now? Any English learner who is listening right now? What would be your sincere advice to them? Like, what do you think they should do to improve their English and to get
Like
better as soon
I
as
think
possible?
I think they have to have the passion first. They have to believe that they can speak English.
Mm,
They want to do it and learn English.
mhm, mhm.
Instead of like if you don't have the passion, if you don't feel you can do it, I think you're gonna waste your time. That's all.
Okay, but let's assume someone who is listening to this right now is
Mm-hmm.
going through maybe like a negative period, kind of like has a lot of
Yeah.
negative thoughts going on, and it's like, this isn't for me, and I'm not good
Don't
at
give
this.
up.
What do you say to someone like that? What do you say to
Don't
someone
give
who
up.
doesn't? Uh-huh.
I've been there. I've been there. You think you're never gonna learn. I'm never gonna learn. It's hard, but you just you get to keep going. You're gonna
Mhm.
get there. Keep studying, reading, and don't give up. Never give up, and you're
Mm.
gonna get there for sure. I have been there, and now I'm here. I can speak. I can read. I can just keep going. You're gonna get there.
Has being able to speak English, Filipi, has that changed your experience in the United States, like just your life in general? Has it changed your experience here in the US? Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. Cause you cannot communicate with people. I remember going out like trying to talk to people, even in the job. I was able only to speak Spanish. So after a while, I learned English, so I was able to talk to the boss, get a better position, and stuff like that. So it changed it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about like making friends and just kind of, I don't know, getting to know the American culture? Has that been
Yeah.
helpful at all? Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. I used to go out with the girl, and we used just translate to talk, and
Mm,
I met her these days, and now I told her now I'm able to talk. She
mm.
wow, now you
That's cool.
talk. Yeah, you're doing really good. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think when you have people who live in the United States and are serious about living here, like meaning, okay, this is my country now, this is my life now, I think it's insanely important to learn English.
Oh
Insanely
yeah.
important to learn English. And maybe in our head, we think like this, like, it's okay, I hang out with Brazilians only, or I hang out with Saudis only, or I hang out with Spanish speakers only. But sooner or later, it catches up to you. You know, we have this expression in English, it catches up to you. It catches you. You know, it arrives and it's like
Mm.
you're like, "Oh shoot. I should have learned English. I should have put in more effort. I should have put in more energy." Right? Have you guys
Yeah.
ever experienced uh-huh.
Always summer. It's in the beginning. You're gonna feel like you're tired learning English, but after like keep it up, like working that, it's gonna be easier. Every day is gonna be easier. And I think there are some techniques they can use in order to learn English. I believe learning terms that you're gonna use a day in your daily life, it's going to be easier for you to use it in your daily life. Like a task is, or like you use it in a restaurant, work. It's going to be like good for you to learn English really quick. Instead of you like just keep the vocabulary and learn the vocabulary instead of that terms. You know what I mean?
So basically like focus on
Yeah,
some very
on
common
sentences and sentences, phrases. Like I believe phrases more like a more how can I say, like you'll get the benefit from phrases more than words. You know what I mean?
uh,
More
so
than
ba-
vocabulary.
so basically like kind of like survival phrases, right? Like something that's
Yeah,
going to help you in the beginning to not
yeah, to survive, like communicating with people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe phrases, you can use phrases like that you can use in restaurant, company, like you're going out with friends, order something from a supermarket. Use those phrases, memorize that. It's gonna be your beginning, and it's gonna be easier for you in the future to use them again and again. You know what I mean?
I see. I see. So kind of uh, pick some pick a couple of survival sentences just so you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
something to survive. Something like
To say, yeah.
what's your name? Where are you from? I am from, like survival sentences, right?
Yeah, and from there you're gonna receive some words that you don't know, go back and
Mm,
translate it, and just you're gonna learn more. You know what I mean?
excellent, excellent. I also
I,
think, please, Felipe.
I have an interesting story about survival, because that was
Please.
survival. Because when I got here, like in the beginning, so I started working already, and I was working in a valet parking,
Mm,
and my friend left me,
Yeah, I
left
remember
by
that.
myself, and I didn't know English at all. He
mm.
just wrote some sentence. Oh God.
No, no. Oops. Okay, I think Felipe will come back. I think he got
Yeah,
disconnected.
yeah,
He'll be back. He'll be back. But in the meantime, I wanted to just write valet parking, right? Valet parking. So basically, you work at a parking lot. Maybe you work for a restaurant, or maybe you work for some type of a company, and so you are responsible to park the customers' cars. And Felipe is back. Hey, hey, hey! No problem, Felipe. No problem. These things happen. No worry. So tell us, please. Your friend, you were working at a valet for a valet parking. Your friend left you. What happened?
He wrote some sentence, and he said, "Oh, if somebody comes, you're gonna say that. If somebody leaves, you're gonna say that." Oh my goodness! So I had to I had to work to survive, and I had to speak to survive. It was, man.
So how was the reaction of the customers? I mean, did they understand you well? How was it? Like, do you remember?
I don't think so. They just tried to be nice with me, because my English was really bad. It was, oh my goodness, it was just like, okay, it's okay, just pay and give it a chain, and that's it. We didn't talk that much. They understood my situation.
Excellent. Excellent. Listen, you said something very important here. They understood my
Yeah,
situation. And I think it's important to mention that. You know why? Because I think when we are learning English, we feel so shy. Like Muhammad said, if you have learned just a couple of survival sentences, and then suddenly you hear a word or a sentence, oh my gosh, I don't understand this. It's okay. It's okay. Here is
yeah,
something you can say, excuse me, could you repeat that, please? Okay, I don't speak English very well. Please,
yeah.
could you
What
repeat
does
that?
that word mean? Like this? Yeah,
Exactly. Honestly.
yeah,
Honestly. people understand. You'd be surprised. People understand your situation and they are willing to work with you. Now, are you maybe going to run into like a rude person every once in a
It happens.
while? Sure, sure. But I think generally speaking, people are understanding. They are willing to help. They are willing to speak slowly. So don't be shy to ask.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Guys, what about accents? Because I mean, we all have accents when we speak English. How do you feel about accents? Have you ever kind of felt shy about your accent or a little bit
Yeah.
nervous about speaking in English because of your accent? Yes, tell us a little
Yeah,
bit.
I can tell because that's why I came to I went to America to get the accent as well.
Mhm.
Besides the English, learning English, improving my English. I remember one day I went to Starbucks trying to say water all the time, and and the guy was working there saying, "What do you mean?" He tried to catch what I'm saying, so I tried to say water as American. I tried a couple of times, so I changed my accent from American to British, saying water, and they didn't understand even.
I
So
love that.
I tried to say water, Water. I was like, hey, this water, yeah, water. And they
Mhm.
understood. But later I tried to say the American accent a couple times, so I catch that accent.
You see, now you
And
can both accent, British and English. You see?
no, British, it's kind of hard.
Woohoo!
It's kind of hard to do the
Mohammed,
British one.
Hamoudi ya Habibi, we are impressed. We are impressed.
Oh, yeah.
American accent and British accent. Woohoo!
No,
Lady,
I tried with that guy saying water, 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 but I couldn't at that time I couldn't say the water as I'm saying right now. Like I was saying, water, water, trying my best. You know what I mean? He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Like water, water."
ladies, as far as we know, to all the ladies who are listening to this, as far as we know, Muhammad is single. I'm not 100% sure. I think he's a single man. Listen, listen. If you're looking for a phenomenal guy, there you have him.
Yeah.
He might teach you some English accents, some British accents. You
Yeah.
never know. You
No,
never
trust
know.
me. I hope I can get the accent.
He knows some Spanish as well.
we
Oh,
are we are roasting Muhammad. This is what Filipi and I do
you're
all the
still guys
time.
doing that. You're
We
still
are
there.
roasting Muhammad. This is the best part about our friendship. We're always roasting each
Mhm.
other, right? Now you say, but wait, what does that mean, Sam? Roasting? When you feel comfortable with your friends and you're making fun a little bit, you're joking with your friends, you're kind
Yeah,
of roasting your
I
friends
like it
a
kind
little
of
bit.
teasing. Yeah, teasing.
Teasing app. Very good, Mohammed. That's a great one. You are teasing. You are joking around. You are playing around. You are roasting, right? Okay. Very,
Mhm.
very nice. Now, listen, I honestly wanted to ask you, what about you, Felipe? Have you ever felt something in terms of this accent thing? Have you ever had any types of experiences with that?
Yeah, when we meet new people, you just kind of like, I'm used to it because it's been a while, but sometimes I feel shy, my accent. Sometimes you use wrong words, and but it's okay, it's you improve every day.
Why do you guys think that as English learners, that we feel so shy and so sometimes insecure about our accents? Well, what do you guys think? Why?
You
Because we have go ahead, go Felipe.
Uh, uh-huh.
go ahead, Mohammed.
No, I'm just saying because we have to pronounce the word really correct. Like we have to pronounce correctly. Like honestly, we have barking and parking at the same time. We Arabs always say bark, people,
Mm,
instead of like yeah, parking and barking. I don't
mm.
know. They used to say that to me before I go to America. It's like, hey, parking and barking, you have to be careful of that. Just
Yes,
say it
yes.
correctly.
That's a great, great example because I remember the struggle for Arab speakers, or I should say Arabic
B
speakers.
and P. We
Oh,
always
yeah,
say
the
B all the time.
P and the B. So, for example, like you said, many Arabs would say barking instead of parking, right? I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I remember it was a struggle. Do you know why that is, Mohammed? Why is this so
Because you just
difficult for
have one.
Arabic?
Because we have just one letter in Arabic, ba, which is
Mm,
B. In Arabic, we say
mm.
just ba.
So
We
you
don't say
don't,
ba. Ba.
I
We
see.
have
So
P.
I
Yeah.
see. So how did you overcome that challenge, Mohammed? Like, what did you do to overcome that challenge of pronunciation between P and B? That's kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah, but we have to know the pronunciation of P. That's why I just have to just repeat it all the time to
Mm,
understand or to how to I mean like to know how to say it. You know what I mean? Like
mm.
especially the parking and barking. You have to know. I remember some of the a couple of the Arab students institution they used to say people instead of people.
Excellent.
Yeah, you remember that. You remember
Oh,
that.
for sure, for sure. And
Yeah,
also this one. Remember this one? Paper.
yeah,
Instead
people.
of paper, they would say paper, paper. I remember that, right? So that's an interesting point because it's almost like a linguistic habit that you've already learned in Arabic. And that
Yeah.
also becomes a little bit of a barrier, but obviously you have broken that barrier, you have overcome that challenge, because I never hear you say that anymore, paper and barking and stuff. And it's especially interesting with these two words. Like if you have the word parking, right? So it's like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I need to park my car. Where is the parking, right? Where
Yeah.
can I go to park, right? But then when you look at barking, it's literally a dog like woof woof, barking, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the meaning is completely different, and sometimes that's definitely challenging in the English language. Aha, very good, very very good. I also tell my students, like, don't forget, when English speakers or when native speakers learn your languages like Arabic or Portuguese, they have an accent for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many of them are not shy to speak, and so we shouldn't be shy to speak either. I always tell my students, as long as your English is clear, I listen to you guys. Is there an accent? Yes, but I have zero problems to understand you. Your English is super clear. I mean, as you can see, the conversation is flowing, very nice, very natural conversation. There are literally zero problems, right? So I hope that students who are watching this right now find inspiration in that. Here you have two of my students with an accent, and we have no problem talking to each other.
Yeah. No
Literally,
worry.
no
No worry.
problem.
No worry about accent in the beginning. Just
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah.
Learn.
That's right. That's right, Philip. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Philippi,
Don't worry.
quick
Accent from the beginning. Focus in learning first.
quick question. I know that generally speaking, the level of English speaking is pretty low in Brazil. Like generally speaking, for example, if I were to travel to Brazil, most people are not gonna be able to speak in English to me because
Yeah.
the level is pretty low. Why do you think that is, and why do you like what do you think can be done to kind of change that a little bit?
Actually, we have like English in school, high school, but we have a lot of schools to teach English. But I don't think it's like it really works. Like
Mm,
if we don't have like a specifically school for English for free. We have
mm,
it like in high school, but it's not that good. If
mm,
you want to really study, you need to pay for it, and it's expensive. So
mm.
yeah, it's not easy to get a really good education in English in Brazil. I think that's why we need more access to learn English. Really good teachers. And for free. It would improve it a lot.
Excellent, excellent. Mohammed, I know that more and more and more is being done in Saudi Arabia to really push the students to learn and improve English. I was reading recently that especially the women of Saudi Arabia are really like kicking butt when it comes to English. That like the level, generally speaking, the English level is much, much higher for women in
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia than it is for men, right? And so I was really excited to read that a lot is being done to kind of push these youngsters, push the youth to really learn English, improve, and be able to speak. I think that's really exciting news. What do you think about that, Mohammed?
It's really good actually. It's now it depends, like, somewhere like in my generation, like that time in intermediate school, high school, I just want to get the best score.
Mm,
You just go to the next level, the next grade. Even in my university, I was like, I just want to pass. That's all. But after that, I realized English is really important in my life, even in
mm,
to get a job, to communicate with other people.
mm,
For this generation now, we have many foreigners or many international people. They're working in Saudi, even restaurants here, supermarkets. So they start to communicate in English. So they have to learn English, or they have to use the English that they learning in intermediate school, in high school, when they go to coffee or super or restaurants.
mm,
Yeah. So
mm.
it's more now. It's how can I say? It's more easier for them to learn English than before.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're absolutely right. And I think there is like a greater sense of awareness among people. I think people are becoming more and more aware of
Yeah,
this like
that's right.
need of the English language, where it's like, oh shoot, I really need it now. And, you know, it's hard to you can't learn English in a week or 10 days. It's a process, right? And it's you guys know that. You've gone through the process. Yeah.
But nowadays it's a
Mhm.
little it's a little easier because we have other ways to learn. Like give you an example as your Maverick lingo that is really great. So you can learn like online classes and everything. So that helps a lot. Like I remember nobody had it before, So
I think it's a great example, Filipe. There are many more resources
yeah,
today. Oh my God, what is going on with my spelling today, dude? Resources. Yes, there are many more resources today. Why? Look at this. Because of the internet.
yeah.
Yes, because of technology. Be careful with the pronunciation, not technology, no, technology. Because of technology. Do you guys agree with me? Do you think that
Oh,
it's because
yeah.
of the internet? Uh-huh.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah, of
think?
course.
What do you think? Share with us, please. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think technology even gave us a lot of easier ways or many gates that we can even not just learn English, even to know other cultures, to communicate
Mm,
with people around the world. It's
mm,
easier for us now to know any knowledge or any information. Like I can know anything. I can just go to the internet now and know what's happening in America, or what happening with the people there, or
mm,
how to get information from that person in that area, or
mhm,
that country. I
mhm,
think technology helped people a lot to learn English, to learn languages, explore many places, even cultures. Like before I go to any place, I can just go to the internet, figure out what's going on there, or how to
mhm,
go there, how to use how can I say, how to use the internet to know the city, or to know the country, or to know the
mhm.
culture before I go there.
Uh,
Uh, it's
mhm.
easier for them now, Samra, to learn English by using technology. It's more easier than before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
because maybe you don't have a really good English school in your city. You live like somewhere out of town, So you
Mhm.
can do online class, So even though if you live in an area that we don't have you don't have a English school or someone that can teach you, you just go online, if you're lucky, you're gonna meet Samara, and she's gonna be your.
Like now, we are
Woo!
using
Good one. Good one.
yeah, like now we are
Oh,
using
let's
technology.
go from here to here.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
like now we are using technology now
Yeah,
to like communicate between us now. Like people are watching
like
us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
like Sam, you are the example of this, because you teach people only doing online classes and everything, So that's technology, that kind of resource we have now that we didn't have before.
I want
Mhm.
to share something real quick with you guys. So, if you remember when the pandemic started in
Yeah.
2020, the whole world just closed down. And I
Uh-huh.
think I think for all of us who work online, basically our business exploded during the pandemic. That's when my business really, really took off. I got so many new students. I opened up these group classes, and my classes were just expanding and expanding and expanding more and more and more, right? But you know me, I'm always like, I always want to do something. I always want to, like, I'm always looking for new ideas, new ways to kind of come up with something, right? So during the pandemic, I was thinking, what if I start a podcast for English learners, right? So I started a podcast through Anchor and through Spotify, which I call You, Me, and Words, right? And I was thinking, like, okay, what is a good name to give to this podcast? And I was thinking, well, whenever you have a conversation with someone, it's like you, me, and it's a bunch of words, right? So
Mhm.
whether it's Spanish words, whether it's Arabic words, whether it's Portuguese or English words, it's always words in communication, right? So I'm sharing this with you guys. Why? I started this almost as a hobby, almost as like, okay, I'll do this on my free time type of thing. Well, we almost have 100,000 listeners today, right? And I'm sharing this not to brag, but I'm sharing this because I realized more and more and more, oh my gosh, there is a crisis in the world when it comes to English learning. There is a very sad situation in the world when it comes to English learning. As I told you earlier, I know, I've always known that we go through difficult parts and difficult situations when we're learning a new language. But I didn't know, truly, honestly, with all my heart, I did not know that people suffer as much as they do. Because of this podcast, I have received all kinds of emails, all kinds of messages, all kinds of voice messages where students are like, oh my God, I needed English for my job and I used to cry going to work, because I was so embarrassed. I was so shy. Students have told me that they even felt stupid because, like, oh God, I'm the only one who doesn't speak English. I'm the only one who has an accent. Oh God, everybody makes sense. I'm the only one who doesn't make sense. And because I was able to share many of my personal experiences and also many of my students' experiences through this podcast, I think we have created this amazing network online with strangers because of the internet, because of technology, because of these resources. Yes, and students listen to this podcast. It's obviously free, right? And so, technology has opened up many, many doors. And honestly, when I started this podcast, I wasn't like, yes, let's go out there and change the world. No, I was like, okay, I have some extra time. What else could I do? Oh, let's start a podcast. And that's how it started. And so, everything has a process. And as long as you respect the process, as long as you try your best to do your best, I think you're always going to be successful. I really do. And even if you're not successful, at least you can look back and say, well, I tried. I gave it my best. So it's okay. I can move on now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
So, so, more and more and more, I feel like I really want to invite students. I want to have these conversations, so that hopefully we can motivate as many people as possible to kind of let go of this fear when it comes to speaking English, and let go of this feeling that the whole world is judging you, the whole world is looking at you, the whole world is laughing at you. I think it's all in our head. As we said earlier, most people are really kind. Most people are really understanding. And if you tell them, I'm sorry, my English is not so great, I'm learning, could you repeat that? What does that
They'll
mean?
understand.
They'll understand. Am I right? What do you guys think? I
Yeah.
think I'm right. I don't know. Do you agree with me? What do you think?
Yeah, I think for us here living in California, in Los Angeles, a little bit easier because a lot of different cultures. So people are more patient with that,
Mm,
because most of the people they also have accent and they, they don't speak very well, and so was easier here, but
mm.
but never give up. I remember in the beginning it was really hard, but I just gotta keep going, and one day you're gonna get better, but yeah, just trust yourself, you know
That's a really interesting point. Like, trust yourself, because I think
Mhm.
not just as students, honestly, I think as human beings, we always are comparing ourselves to other people. It's almost like it's something that's in our head. It's embedded in our head. It's human nature, like, oh, look at him, look at her. What am I doing? Oh my God, he's so much better. She's so much better. We always compare ourselves. And I believe 1,000,000%, whenever you do that, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your energy. This person is this person. That person is that person. You are you. You have no idea when this person started to learn. You can look at this person and you can feel inspired. If you remember, I always used you guys as an example in our class, although I loved everybody in our class. But the truth is, I always thought you guys stood out. I'm going to write that down. I always thought you guys stood out. What do you mean, Sam? I noticed that you guys had like an extra fire, extra passion to learn English, right? Okay. And so I used you guys as an example because I think it's so important. Have the power, have the passion, have the fire. Keep on learning. Don't give up. Focus on yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. And come back in 6 months and talk to me. And I guarantee you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's getting better little by little, little by little. I
Even Sam, if they don't want to talk to people and they feel shy about their English, they can talk to themselves. They can just stand in front of the mirror and talk to themselves. Just pronounce,
absolutely.
just speak loudly with yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally, totally agree. I mean, remember with my Arabic, that's literally what I would do. I would record myself in school and then I would just listen while I was cleaning or washing or whatever. I would listen and I would repeat and repeat and repeat. And you have no idea how helpful it has been with my students. My students are
Mhm.
always impressed, like, oh, teacher, you can speak Arabic well, not fluently, but I can put together a couple of sentences. And people admired that. People respect that. People are always like, oh, that's cool. So that's how you have to imagine yourself with your English. If you come to the United States, if you go to any English speaking country, believe me, people are not going to be like, what? You can only say 10 sentences. Most people are not going to do that. Most people are going to be like,
Mhm.
oh, cool. Am I
Yeah.
right? I think so. That's been my experience. Like, oh, cool. You're learning. Oh, nice. That's cool. Well, great job, right? Most people are actually positive. But yeah, that one negative person kills our spirit, destroys us. You know,
Mhm.
I'll share an example with you guys. So I work with a student from Florida. He's actually originally from Brazil. And so he takes his English learning very seriously. And he has classes like 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. Like he's super, super serious. And when we started learning English, his English was like, I would say almost zero, like really, really low level of English. But almost a year later, a year and a half, I would say, he's honestly, he has improved tremendously, tremendously. So you know how it is when your English is really low, and then when you start to improve, you feel proud. You feel like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Confident.
I want to talk, I want to speak. And so he said a couple of sentences to another Brazilian person, and then this Brazilian person was like, no, 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 that's not how you say it. You say it like this, you say it like that. So immediately, I had to create a video, and I call that video Negative Nancy's, right? Because in English, we have this expression. What is a negative Nancy? A negative Nancy is a person who is just negative. Do you understand what I'm saying? No,
Uh-huh.
no, no. That's not how you say it. Instead of, hey man, good job. Wow, your English is getting better, right? So he comes back to class. Guess what? He is devastated, devastated. He's like, oh, Sam, no, I don't know. I'm not improving. I'm not getting. I said, you know what happened? Poison entered your brain. That's what happened. Poison entered your mind. And now you are small again. You went from feeling confident, from feeling proud of yourself, even though your English isn't perfect yet. And then just one person. No, that's not how you say it. Boom. Everything went to shit. Do you understand my point? So
Mhm.
it's really important to remember most people are going to be nice. Most
Yeah.
people are going to be positive. But that one negative person, don't allow him or her to defeat you. That's it. Don't allow them to break you down. You understand my point?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Any thoughts on this?
It happened to me a lot. Still happens, but it's okay,
So,
Uh,
uh-huh. So how do you deal with something like that, Felipe? Like, what do you do in a situation like that?
it depends. If I feel like the person is really trying to get to me in the bad way, I just don't say anything. But if something like to help, I don't mind. Sometimes my friends help me. I help my friends. Like kind specifically words, but if it's something to help you, it's fine. But it's in a bad way, nah, just yeah, it's okay. Sometimes the person that is trying to teach me, their speech is worse than mine. They just better. They just
I
good.
love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is that, man? Come on, your English sucks, man.
Yeah, yeah. But it's
What?
a good example. It's a good example because these people want to feel more superior,
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm better than you are. It's again human nature, human tendency, right?
and
We have to ignore those, right? Hmm.
it
Mhm.
happened because and that word that this person was trying to say was right, it actually was wrong. So
Hmm.
wow, come on. I
Hmm.
searched it. Come on, I'm 100% sure that word is right. And I searched it, and then I found out I was right, and the person was wrong. So come on.
Oh my god.
Uh,
You know what's funny? Literally this morning I had someone ask me like, "Hey Sam, do you say watch the dishes or do you say wash the dishes?" And I said, "Well, you say wash the dishes." But it's just to be fair, it's a common mistake for students to say, especially if you speak Spanish, to say, "Oh, I watch the dishes." And she said, "Oh, I'm so sad, Sam, because somebody told me at work, no, it's not watch the dishes. Watch is is your watch, which it's true. I mean, that's your watch, and you wash your hands or wash the dishes. But you know what we say in English? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And some people are just so rude. So please, guys, if you're listening to this and if you feel a little bit insecure, a little bit shy, don't allow these people to break your spirit. Keep
Yeah,
going, keep learning. That's it.
like we were saying, if you are not native, you sometimes you're gonna make a mistake, you know.
Mhm, mhm. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, any final comments, guys? I don't want to keep you too long. We're going to wrap it up. Any final comments you want to leave our listeners with? I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation.
Oh my,
Uh, I'll invite you again for sure. I want to do these a lot more now from my YouTube channel. But I also want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
You're welcome,
sharing
Sam.
your stories. Maybe it's just a story to you, but believe me, I know for a fact that someone's going to listen to this and feel a little bit motivated, a little bit inspired. Like, okay, if they could do it, I can do it too.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So thank you so much for sharing your
You're
thoughts,
welcome.
your
Thank you so
experience.
much for giving us this chance as well.
Oh, absolutely. Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to
No,
say here? Oh,
just believe in yourself and don't give up. And thank you,
Yeah,
Stan. If
yeah.
it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. Thank you.
thank you
Uh,
so, so much. Thank you, guys. Okay.
you're
Thank you all
welcome.
for listening. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much. One second
Bye.
here. Let me just
Bye bye, guys. Woohoo!
Bye.